everyone, it's Robin, and this is a follow-up to my first video about making dryer sheet decorative papers. So many of you said, okay, that's great, but what does the final product look like? And I guess I forgot to show you that. I'm sorry. So I wanted to show you that and also answer some other questions that came my way from the first video. This is what the final product looks like. It's the same size as the dryer sheet. It comes out extremely flexible, so you could, as you'll see in just a second, make it into a journal cover. You could use it as a journal page. And this one, I used a combination of glue and water. So it feels a bit like parchment paper. You can hear the sound of it. Feels and sounds like parchment paper. The next one that I did, I used straight glue. So, and again, I'm using PVA, which I'll show you in just a second, but I used straight glue on this one. Has a more rubbery feel to it, has more tooth to it, and is definitely a thicker, but still extremely flexible and very strong piece of decorative paper. This one you can see I haven't trimmed off yet. You would want to do that if you were going to use it for a journal cover or in a journal. I did make a journal cover out of one of my decorative papers, and this particular piece of paper was a piece that when I was using Elmer's glue and water. So it has more of a parchment feel to it, but it's still a quite beautiful piece of paper when it's finished. And I'm taking a bookbinding class, so I bound it on the side, and then I just put in some cardstock and some decorative paper and did a little embossing on it, and it turned out to be, just a really pretty journal that I could use or I could give to someone else. Another way to use it would be to cut up the embellishments. Cut up the decorative paper and make them into embellishments. And as you can see here, that's exactly what, I've done. And you could use these, again, in a journal or just send a piece to someone with a little note. I'm sure you could use it as a tag. There's a multitude of uses for these. I'm sure that you'll actually think of some, and I would love to see yours too if you'd share them with me. The final thing that I want to show you is I used a piece that I had cut up and put it on a card. Now, I cut off the inside of this card because I made a mistake. I didn't really like it, but I saved this just to show you. And then on the inside, I had pasted a couple of the pieces that I cut up just as a little decoration. So this is another way you could use it, on a card. The glue that I've been talking about is called neutral pH adhesive, and the reason the V is vinyl, so it's called polyvinyl adhesive, and it dries quite clear and also quite kind of rubbery in a way. Really different than the way Elmer's glue dries. Very stiff. Elmer's glue, even with water, dries pretty stiff. This dries in a much softer, more flexible way. It also is archivable, and that's if you want just your things to be saved, into perpetuity or however long, then it's an archivable glue. It is also quite expensive. So if you don't need those things and you don't care about how soft and flexible it is or how archivable it is, then I would say just stick with Elmer's glue or any kind of really white glue. And you'll get a different combination depending on what your ratio is of water to glue. So you just kind of have to play around with it and have fun. I wanted to thank you so much for watching, and I just wanted to answer some of those questions that you asked. If you liked this video and it was helpful, give me a thumbs up or subscribe.